We love most of that church.
Right. But the ideal church,
right,
in the context of these immediate concerns, that's what throws me. Because if you took away this, we could strategize and say, here are best practices for churches who do well. But I can take a church that does well and drop these problems in, and then that church doesn't do so well anymore. So it's the ideal church, but this has to be factored in. Are we saying we're giving a cookie-cutter presentation of what an ideal church is, or are we saying that
we're basing it, the solutions off of these specific problems?
Correct.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've already determined. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're basically saying there's another church just like yours with all these similar issues. We fixed it for them, so we want to come fix it for you. You've hired us to come fix it for you. This is what needs to be in place tomorrow.
Okay.
It's almost like an interview, like we did this for this other church before. Let's do it for you.
These are our recommendations.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to go.
So that's what.
This
is where we're saying we want to be an ideal church. An ideal church.
Because we're trying to move them forward. So let me read it again.
Solutions
they
to
wanted to. The church wanted to focus on. So the pastor and the church leadership, they wanted to focus on best practices for the development of an ideal church. They now need to incorporate deliberations around the recent events. That's the boy getting killed. Their end objective is to construct a strategy to move forward.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm still struggling with how. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and say.
Let's go ahead and put the letter behind. Right. Right.
Let's go there because that'll help us to focus.
Right.
On where we're going to put weight, because we cannot talk about all this in the presentation with the same weight.
Right. Correct.
Okay. So if we say that the church needs to be better organized, is that a short-term
intermediate?
Better organization?
Which is maybe we'll do something for, because there are two I's, so we can say M for middle.
Well, I would agree with him that it's intermediate, but we got to make sure that we have, some sort when we blow it up. Okay, what are we got to. I mean, it can be fictitious data. It really doesn't matter.
So for right now,
we got to blow it up to say, because you remember the day we talked about measuring your programs to see how effective they are, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So as a consulting team, we probably need to say, look, we've done an evaluation of your programs, blah, 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 and these are how we think they should be organized, blah, blah, blah. So that would be intermediate. I don't think that's
So we'll just put the letters up
intermediate
as just a thought.
Right.
We'll come back and we'll think about whether or not it really fits there or not. Some are easier than others. LBGT, is that short term? Is that intermediate, or is that a long term?
It's short term because every church now has to have whatever their answer is going to be.
Okay, so my thing is, going back to this. Okay, so when I'm looking at this and weighing this, if the community was making an issue, it probably would be heavier. But okay, so the church body members disagree with the inclusion of them.
Which means you got to address that now.
They have
the LGBT community
with the church.
Right.
So we're saying that's short term, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I agree. We have to address it now. However, the emphasis that we put on it, we don't have to have a program for it.
Right.
We just have
to have a position.
And again, something else was good doing this. Something else that we do may take care of it.
Sure.
Because we might say, you know what, we forgot about our vision.
Exactly.
And the church lost that, it's all people.
Right.
So
you preaching, man.
Cut it off, man. You were going to say I rubbed off on you.
Gentrification is long term.
Long term.
I agree.
Okay.
Social justice is long term.
Remember the boy 22 years old got shot? It's right now. And his grandmother goes to the church.
Right.
And so
we got to deal with that.
We got to deal with it now because it's
I'm sorry. I was thinking social enterprise.
Okay, I got you, because that was also in there in terms of the change of the neighborhood.
Right.
That was an aspect of the gentrification.
Right.
But,
Okay, that's
so
short term.
We'll say short term for this.
Right.
Okay, now we're on the multicultural issues.
That's long.
The neighborhood is changing.
Long term.
Long term. All right. Employment, 15% underemployed or unemployed was the focus, but we also said we have to address the 50 and the 35, which given everything else, the 15% is probably
That's
heavier.
intermediate.
Yeah, the 15.
Intermediate.
Intermediate, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Stakeholders,
Short term.
short term. That's good.
That is good. No, that's, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We failed to realize the resources in our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
That's short term.
Okay.
Leadership.
Leadership. There is a call for leadership change.
Short term.
Church
Oh,
affairs was
okay.
somehow discussed externally and resulted in a scathing newspaper article and growing online call for leadership change. So is that short term, intermediate, or is it long term? The Lord's Retreat made me think short term.
It is short
Only
term.
because if the leadership is not, if you have internal conflict, you
Right.
can't help outside.
Right, absolutely.
That's short term.
You
Short
gotta deal with
term?
that now.
You got to
Okay.
deal with that now.
All right.
Right.
Church
Church
affairs.
affairs. So that kind of goes together. Those
That's
two go
short
together.
term.
That's short
You
term.
got to deal with that now.
All right. While we're duplicating this, I'm not
Well,
quite sure.
because we said that that's not only a strategic planning issue, but it's a
also an
leadership
area
issue.
Leadership is needed. Okay,
Right.
So we can just match that.
Right,
then.
exactly.
We can match that. Multicultural.
No.
No.
Social injustice. Okay.
Short term.
Yeah. And what's
We're
the
saying
last one?
multicultural
Long term.
change in the
Long
community.
term.
That's long term. So what we have done is just said these are different aspects that affects the same
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Ministry management. Okay. This is new stuff. Various worship styles. There is internal. Again, a lot of this stuff. I'm listening to the word internal conflict. Internal conflict arise out of heterogeneous populations' approach to worship. Is that short term?
That's short term.
That's short term.
Or at least
I
intermediate.
was gonna say intermediate.
I was going to say intermediate.
Okay.
Because you got two worship services.
Right.
So that's an easy fix
Okay.
at some very basic level.
Okay.
So
So
we
we
would
would say intermediate was this here?
Mhm.
Okay.
Hospitalities.
Hospitality and flow management were partnered together.
That's short term.
There has been a professed critique of shortfalls. Is it short term?
That's short term. You got to deal with
All right.
hospitality.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's an easy fix.
Okay.
On,
I like that. I like
And
that.
that was one of the first things when we talked about worship. The W stood for worship, but we broke it down.
Okay.
They said that we were not warm
Right.
Okay.
and we were not welcoming.
Gotcha.
And you all did that short term?
Yes, sir.
You have to.
Immediately, we went to training immediately.
Got you.
Pulled out the
Okay.
Disney book again.
Pastoral care.
That was around, the pastoral care issue was around, okay,
That's
Can he get in?
now,
Is that door locked?
It's not allowed.
the pastoral care issue was around, now that we've dealt with this issue, what about the aftermath?
All right, but let me say something about brief.
Well, yeah, but we didn't put it up. That's
Okay, that's what this is.
right.
Because it's
We may want to change the term, but.
because the grandmothers in the church.
Right, right.
And I know that there was some
Right.
some strained relationship between the children and grandchildren of long-standing
Right.
residents, and the police recently bubbled over the shooting death. So but we had that under ministry management. So we were saying that there ought to be an internal ministry component that cares for not only the grandmother who's on the inside, but also the
members.
community.
Right.
No, not the community.
Not the
That
community.
was internal.
All this was internal.
Pastoral care is internal.
Pastoral
Right.
care was internal. That was internal.
Okay. So is this short term? The strained relationship between the children and grandchildren of long-standing residents and the police?
I think it could be intermediate, just because one of the things that Reverend Omarosa.
Omarosa.
Omarosa said, the poor we don't have with us always. Some of that, like the thing between the police and the children, the youth, the church didn't cause that.
So this was so that we.
Intermediate.
But the church is expected to respond to it.
The church is expected to
We are
respond, but
respect.
we didn't.
Yeah, but we see, and I think that's another problem with this church is they're too internally focused.
Right.
What should happen if it's all people? That means people outside the church. My pastoral care should extend to the block, should extend to the corner.
Absolutely.
The guys should know I'm shepherding you, even though you're not in this building. If you're in this community, this church claims your street. It claims your block.
All right, let's get the letters up.
Okay, all right. Reaction to the newspaper article.
That's
That internal, that's immediate?
That's internal.
Short term.
That's
Short
short
term.
term.
Short
Okay.
I was gonna say, marketing, we know, we
Yes.
gotta address that.
You gotta address that immediately.
Yeah.
And she taught us, so we make sure we
Plus,
go to
I
them.
wish we should have two people writing, because we got solutions popping up as we go through them, like policies and procedures.
I'll
Okay,
type
so-
that up.
Okay,
I'll type
thank
that
you.
up.
Okay, good. So we'll just yell them out, because sometimes it just comes to say.
I don't,
LGBT,
the LGBT,
in
I
terms of
don't know why that's under branding and marketing. I
Because
forgot.
We were saying that there was perhaps,
We
See,
said it's
we didn't-
already
we didn't
addressed
reach
here,
it.
though. It's
Okay.
addressed in the vision statement. The fact that we are a church of all people.
right.
And
Well,
you have to.
So
you have to
branding
have-
and marketing can also be from the pulpit.
Absolutely.
What's our position on it?
Absolutely.
The fact that there's discussion says maybe that there's not, like at our church, our pastor pulled us in the room and made it abundantly clear, you better not ever make nobody feel uncomfortable when they walk in these
That's
doors.
right.
Case closed. You see that?
Right.
Because it was marketing.
But is the question on the document whether or not they can be involved?
Well, that's
Well,
the
there's
issue.
some,
It
there's some
involves
internal, it's internal issues, right, but you're having some internal issues with your members.
Right.
Because of the LGBT, inclusiveness of the LGBT
In
community.
what capacity?
Well,
It doesn't say. It just says that the church, within the church body, are members who disagree.
With-
That's with the inclusion of LGBT
In-
involvement
Involvement.
with the church.
That's a key. It's
Involvement.
not worship.
No, not worship.
So
But I guess
What's involvement?
right. I'm thinking
Uh-uh.
maybe they're maybe they're serving, maybe they're on a worship team. I don't know.
That's what I think.
You know what I mean? So the bottom line is it's perhaps a policy issue if there's a discussion that is not clear. But that's part of the solution. So we'll just put that down. So that's why we have it on branding and marketing, because we market from the pulpit.
Yes.
We market with the way we create ministries.
Okay, well, that's short term, because you
Okay,
need to
so
deal
that's
with that
short
right
term?
now.
That's your term?
Yeah, you need
Okay.
to deal with that right
What
now.
does, I'm sorry, what does I stand for?
I stands for intermediate.
Intermediate.
So we have
Intermediate.
Short term, intermediate,
Short
long
term,
term.
long term.
Gotcha.
We got a lot of short term. Anyway, okay, gentrification, marketing, and
Remember, some of
branding.
them are duplicates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's some overlap.
but-
Are we going
right.
to market to this at all right now?
What?
The branding and marketing
Gentrification is long term.
is long term.
Okay, so we just keep following the same thing.
Multicultural issues is long term.
Because we got some stuff we got to deal with right
Yes,
now. For the church even get help.
Yes, and marketing, that's intermediate.
No, guest to,
Yes, to
Yes,
membership.
members.
guest
Where did that
members.
come from?
That was on the top when we said, are we trying to move those people who come as guests or visitors?
Ah,
to
right. So
actually
there's a
join?
30%.
I think
There's
that's,
a 30. You're talking about the 30% that's not
Exactly.
accounted for.
Right.
I think that's long term, to be honest.
Ah.
Well, that
You gotta-
that could be intermediate.
I'm sorry,
But what
intermediate,
has
I
to-
didn't mean so long
yeah,
term.
But what
But you
does
gotta
have
get a
to be-
plan in place to do that.
Well, what I like to suggest that should be intermediate, never mind, because it's not even an issue. Well, yes, it is. Hospitality is also talking about to our guests.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why.
I got you.
Mhm.
I got you. So that's why it's a short term, is what you're saying?
But, right, because let
It's
me
short
read.
term.
Let me read.
Definitely.
So where?
It is
Second paragraph.
Second paragraph.
Where it's talking about the flow.
Well, hold on.
Second sentence.
Can I ask this question?
Sure.
And I should have thought about this before. Okay, we need to make a decision right now or after you're done with that. Okay, where are we going to put a stake in the ground in long-term planning, short-term planning, and
Do
right now?
you have?
Yes, we will.
Go Don't let Bishop see our stuff.
No, I've already kicked him out.
Hey, Bishop, you all right with me when you got up and gave you a little tweet, man. That's it. You all right with me.
I told him he died that I might eat.
Hey, I fell on the sword, man. Okay, so
let me show you what I mean.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you got the
I think
Okay, so if you go, if long-term planning is 0 to 5.
Right. I like that.
Or 0 to 3.
Okay.
Well, let's say long-term planning is 0 to 5. I'm sorry, it's up to 5 years. Okay. Then from a management standpoint, from a pure management standpoint, okay, if you determine short-term planning is in the first year.
Okay.
Okay. That's a lot.
I agree. I agree. So what I did, I think it makes sense. So we're going to create some boundaries for this. We got one left. Let's define this.
Go ahead.
Let's come back.
But you see what I'm getting.
Definitely.
Okay.
But all we need to do is tell them our definition for these
Yeah,
time frames
and
and how
remember, guys, we got
gonna play the
1,000
deal.
members.
We don't have to tell them how we're going to fix every problem. I think it's important.
Oh, yes,
to make,
you're going to have to tell them how you're going to address those problems that came up in the case study. That's why you get the case study.
we bring it up. I think we need to factor it in. That's the word I heard in the presentation. I think we also need to know.
You need to factor in their solutions. That's what I heard. You need to factor in the presentations that were being made.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The second, this is the last thing. The second mortgage that has been taken out to purchase land, it sounds like it's a big problem with our financials.
Yeah.
So is this a
That's
short
today.
term?
That's today.
That's the
That's today.
We got that land on the board. We got a new letter, everybody. Let's go ahead. Right now.
What's that?
That's right now. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
So there are two things we said. We want to keep in mind that this is an ideal picture, or ideal church, factoring in these areas. Okay? And this is what we said. I don't know if we want, when you say stick a stake in the ground, I'm just saying, where do we want to put the most weight? We said social injustice was a huge part of it.
This is how we know where we want to put our stake in the ground.
Okay?
The vision.
Okay. I love it.
What is going to grow? How are we going to grow?
I'm telling you now, I think it's clear. I love this. I mean, we show this through the.
So those things have to line up with our.
Well, all of it affects people on some level, right?
But I know what I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. But now that we have identified what's short-term, intermediate, and long-term, okay, you got to determine, because that's going to determine what your workload is. You got to determine what's the time frame for short-term, the time frame for intermediate, and the time frame for long-term, because now you may have to go back and change stuff.
So shoot out just right. Just give me your best thought on each
0 to 6 months short-term.
Okay.
You got to fix that in the next 6 months. Okay. Intermediate 1 to 3.
1 to 3 years.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's say 7 months to 3
What's
years.
nice about this is it can be nice on a PowerPoint slide.
Right.
Yeah. No. 7 months. 7 months. 7 months to 3 years.
7 for intermediate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it longer than a year, because we're talking about growth, rapid. I don't want to say rapid change, but I think to expect something in 3 years down the line is like long term, in my opinion.
I think you're. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I would say intermediate, 7 months to maybe a year and a half, but not for 3 years.
Well, and that's what I was trying to get to in the class. I've, theoretically speaking, over the last 3 years, long-term planning, because things change so fast, is not 3 years.
It's how long?
3 versus
Long
5.
term is 3 years.
Long term is 3 years versus 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't agree on that?
No. What we're trying to now. I don't have a problem with long term being, 3 to 5. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying we need to agree on that because this is going to affect what you do.
What I'd like for you to do, because see, right now, all we need to do, we just putting stuff in. We know the space. Let's fill in the space, and then let's start, because we'll have to come back and adjust as we start digging into the problem. So I'm cool with whatever range you would.
Clarence, why don't you take that part?
Yeah.
Fill that in.
What do you? What's your?
Okay.
What's your
short term is short term. This doesn't mean that we have to fix.
Right.
Yeah.
Short term is 0 to 1 year. 0 to 12 months. 0 to 12 months. You got to address that thing right now.
The 0 to 12 months.
Right.
Okay. Got you.
Intermediate would be 13 months to 36. 30. Let me see. Yeah, 36 months.
Okay. 0 to 12.
Right.
Okay. So you say this.
13 months all the way up to 3 years.
13 to 3 years.
Right, and then
and
then 3 years to 5.
3 to 5. I like that.
How y'all feel about that?
Okay. Because if you think about it,
You okay with that?
the things that you all had to address immediately, how long did it take you to fix?
Things, a year.
See.
We targeted a year.
And so some things got fixed in 3, 4, 6 months.
Right. But we got this window to dance in.
Right.
Yes. And what we'll find is when we focus on leadership issues, hospitality issues, some of the internal issues will domino. It'll affect other things, so things will kind of work out in bunches.
That's right.
That's our philosophy behind
That's
it.
right.
This is why we strategically chose to pick these first.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right.
All right. So now out of these, we're saying, now I'm just, by the letters, I'm just writing a one. I'm just focusing on the S's because it's short term. That's what we got to work right now.
Right.
What's like the number one thing on our short term?
On the S's.
On the
We gotta
S's.
deal with the social justice issue.
Social justice. The thing that's happened on the street.
The thing that's happening right now.
That's happening right now. That's Baltimore. That, in perspective. So we're saying this is a number one thing right here, right? If you had to say what's the next thing that we.
Let me recant that.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
We got to deal with this call for leadership replacement.
Okay.
You have
Me personally.
You got an internal.
You can't fix that.
Right, you can't deal with
You
the
can't
police
deal with that. Forget what Proverbs is. Prepare your grounds outside first, then build your house.
So it's still a number one though.
It's still important.
Yeah, so
No, but that would be number one.
Okay. No. This right here we're saying is our number one.
Right.
Right here. Okay. So and then I'm putting
No. The call for leadership change.
It's not. What is?
No. Right there, right under that. Church
Right.
affairs externally.
These two were together
discussed.
though. I think.
No, it was separate. We had leadership change and then church.
No,
affairs.
it's church.
But
the church affairs was somehow discussed externally, and resulted. Is number 2 in a scathing newspaper article, and 3 now, and growing online calls for leadership change.
Well,
So it was precipitated by this.
You're right.
Okay.
Let me double on what Donald is saying. He's saying the church affairs externally discussed needs to be number one. I agree with him, but I also agree that the call for leadership change, those two need to be addressed right now in the next 30 days. Because if you don't address these two, nothing else matters.
Absolutely.
I'm with you. So let's just do this here. And so, okay, so let's say that's
right. That's
our
number one.
Number one issue.
That's number one. You got to take care of that.
We get this. If we get this, it may also help us with this.
It may.
And it may help us with this and this, because what we have realized is that the leak in the leadership it's an infection. And so we decided to have this retreat and we brought in a subject matter expert who would deal with these internal issues because we found that it's caused dissension in our ministry.
And whoever leaked it should be fired. You got to go. The scripture says,
You know how many people have had to let go?
Wow.
because that's going to be key.
Why? But because of that, or
Doc, we need another
Just-
board.
Just because
Okay.
yeah, we do need a
I
board.
had to let
We
go
have to
of
use this one.
3 people,
Okay.
and one person let go of herself.
Okay.
And the reason why we had church affairs is externally discussed.
Yes.
My communications guy, I had to
church
let him
affairs
go.
was discussed.
Because that was happening.
Because he was one of the people that was angry and frustrated with how the church was being run. And he wasn't getting it, he wanted more money.
Right.
I'm like, dude.
So these were full-time employees.
They were, yeah, they
Yeah,
were
they were
full-time
employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you agree with that
I
being number
sure
one?
do.
Okay.
I
Okay.
sure do.
So we just rough draft. We're saying strategically. So the leadership issue needs to be addressed. Our solution is that we hired a subject matter expert on dealing with internal leadership issues, whoever that is.
Right.
Maybe we can even research a few of them.
I'll do that.
Okay, good.
I'll do that.
So we have.
Well, Larry and Keon should actually do that.
Okay. So, well, if you have saved me some time, ain't no sense in me Googling what I don't know.
If that's your talent.
Because I will put your name up there. Like we consulted with Clarence. Okay. Okay.
All day long.
So that will be.
No. Okay, yeah. The
Right,
social
we're just saying
injustice
right now,
issue.
just-
the social injustice issue will be number 2, right?
No. Right
What's
now
number
would be
two?
number 2.
That- we gotta
Which
deal
is
with that
the
money piece.
financial issue because of the land purchase. The challenge I have with that is practically how easy would it be if you purchased land that's too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't like I don't want it no more. It's like it's a process that you have to go through to undo it. But maybe we're saying it's a right now issue that we need to start coming up with some solutions for this. My thought is how can we use this purchase to help some of these external issues? Maybe the community. It's a thought.
Quick
It's a
question.
thought.
Are we itemizing each of these issues now as a group instead of on the team?
Well, the reason why,
Prioritizing
because
the
right now, A, we got to flow. 2, we don't have time. If she's not here, it's going to help them to say, let's, for all practical purpose, let's just focus. So yes, we are. We're itemizing because it's efficient.
And it's working.
It is working.
And I apologize because I have an exam and class tonight, so I have to run out.
Oh, man,
but if
cool.
you all,
I'm
No, you
recording.
should have said something.
those guys, I just want to make sure that I can contribute as much as I can.
Oh,
Man, you need to
had
pass.
it. You had it.
No,
You
no,
need
I
to
didn't- I didn't
pass.
pass
I got mine. You need to pass.
Yeah, you need it.
Um,
Did you eat dinner?
I'm gonna eat after this.
It's cool. What we'll do, our goal is just to provide a rough draft.
Okay.
Hate it, love it, disagree with it. It is certainly a lot better than staying stuck.
Yes.
If
Right.
we get a model,
Right.
we can tweak the model, but we need to be simple enough to be able to say it tomorrow.
Gotcha.
We're not waiting to Friday to say this.
Do you want me to? I've typed up everything you said except for the bottom part, the 3 things. I
So
have
what
all
I'll
the
do
L's
for
and
you,
whatnot.
I'm going to take a picture and send it to you.
Okay, just to type up and then give it to everybody else.
Yes,
That's
and then we can start tomorrow when we come. We can actually start creating a PowerPoint around this
Can you
stuff.
forward them that,
Can we go ahead and finish
Yeah, let's do it.
prioritizing the short
Right.
term?
So are we going to say this is number 2 or not with this here, with the second
yeah,
mortgage
sure.
issue?
Go to my
It's
email.
number 2. And number 2 just says, okay, we have this land, so now we realize that we can help this Generation X or millennials by using the land to have events. It can be music events. I mean, how much it's going to cost us to do. So we're using now to make this a solution to grow and to reach some people who are on the outside, to reach some of this 30%. Just an idea, because we can't sell it right away. If we could, we would.
We can. And that really is a secondary issue. The primary issue is the fact that money's going down.
That's
Right.
the primary.
That's the primary
that's
issue.
now.
So
Right.
we need to address
So you,
a way in which we deal with the decline in income.
What'd you
Okay,
say?
decline in income.
Declining
the
income
decline, yeah.
and compliance.
In compliance.
Because it says critique internally for 2 months. Anytime it's, anytime it's internal critiquing, you want, that's a flag for a pastor to say, let me do a review
Right.
real quick, get my books in order.
right.
So we gotta, so this was the cause, it's not necessarily, the problem is we don't have no money.
No,
The money is gone down.
Right, the money has gone down because over the last 2 months, because they purchased the land.
Because they purchased the
And
land.
now they got.
And
Right,
we
but
wanna
in
go
an
for it.
immediate sense, you have to
Right.
fight that.
So
Because
right.
it's gonna take some time.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I'm just throwing, as we go, now I'm just throwing solutions at it, whether we keep it or not is
Well,
irrelevant.
Okay,
Well, but-
the
so-
money went down, not just because they purchased the land. The money went down because they made a decision to refinance the mortgage. And that's what leaked out.
Okay, so you're saying the
Okay.
refinance of the mortgage made
I love
the
finance.
expenses?
people,
Listen, let me
They
read
did.
it again.
Uh-huh.
It says, lately, the business acumen of the church has been critiqued
Uh-huh.
internally for 2 months of budgetary shortfalls rooted in the questionable
Uh-huh.
We
decision.
need an audit.
There you go.
We need an audit.
Questionable
Oh, that's part of the
decision
strategy.
to
Right.
refinance the mortgage
I like that.
That's part of the strategic plan.
in order, there you go.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's the way.
You
to
got,
address
okay,
that.
you,
We need-
okay.
I got that.
Okay, all right. So we did a
Oh, that was
financial
part
audit.
of it.
The audit, how is the, but it's, so we get the audit will make us aware, how will it make us fiscally healthy? So we gotta make adjustments in our budget.
Because
It's and-
it brings us into compliance, number one.
Okay.
And then number two, somebody should have been looking at this every month. It looks like they just did it for 2 months.
Okay. I also think, just using their language, we gotta think about, profit, or what's he called it, social, what was the word?
Benefit?
Social- No, the social,
Enterprise?
So, the
Social
social enterprise,
enterprise.
yeah.
as a church now.
Right.
And then, honestly, this is what this whole conference is about, or our meeting
Right.
is about. Okay, so now how can we think out of the box
Okay.
to create some generate some revenue
That's
Well,
right.
because-
along with the audit? So we got a
Because
twofold approach.
what you do is in your down times, if you got available rooms in your church, okay, if you can rent out your church when it's not being used to generate income. Some pastors like doing that, some don't, but it generates revenue.
I like that. I like that. I personally,
I'll-
we need to be a little more edgy, more entrepreneurial.
Right.
stretch
All
and
it is,
think
all
more
it is.
outwardly.
Think about it. All it is conference space, meeting rooms. That's all it is.
Okay, that's
From a
fine.
business perspective, it's conference space and meeting rooms.
So let's chew on more of that. We will move on.
Right.
But let's just think of some ideas that could have a dual benefit. It generates income, but it's making something better. Remember, I want to use the
Right.
language that we've learned in some of these.
Right.
So-
Well, remember, if you're leasing space to be used, it's being used by the community.
And we can have a community benefit agreement that suggests you have to hire, as a part of what you do, you have to hire.
Man,
This
somebody write
Right.
it down.
I
It's
got
good. You got it.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
now we did some best practices. We looked at best practices and we did either a feasibility study or we got a focus group from the community
Right.
to say, well, first of all, what are your needs? Because if we just say we opening the church up and we didn't, I think I
No,
heard it
no,
today.
no.
We got to
We're just
ask,
fleshing out.
what's your need?
Right.
What's your need?
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether it's true or not.
Right,
It just
right,
matters
right,
that we
right,
ask.
right,
And we said, well, we found out that they had no place for their kids to go after school. So we had somebody at church that did daycare work. And so we said, hey, we will rent space for you to meet this need in the
At a
community.
premium, if you hire.
If you hire.
Right.
So we
Right.
put all, then that makes it,
And now we're dealing with that populace, what is it, that 15%?
boy, that's
Right.
good. Then we
Right.
dealing with this
Right.
right here.
Right.
I knew that was going to happen.
But
That's bold.
can we finish
We can't, but what I'm saying, when you got a solution that's this hot, we got to stop and get it in there. Then we can move on.
I have a good question. I think I just want to offer one solution to something that was unnecessarily my purview, but I think would address a couple of things. It's the reaction to the newspaper article.
Okay.
I think that we need to invest in getting the newspapers, media here at the church, for them to see our reaction to social justice, which is the one young boy who died, to be able to change the narrative of what has been displayed as what's happened in our church. And I think also enact what Omomosa said earlier in terms of that social network ministry of being able to follow up and say,
and look, and the whole thing is changing the narrative.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
So we're gonna stop because that's too good for us to rush by. I want to make sure Lavelle gets it. That's a 2 for 1.
Right, 2 for 1.
That's a 2 for 1.
And I also think that I'll add one more thing regarding the call for leadership. I think somebody said this earlier. We need everyone, deacons, trustees, I don't know the officers that we've assigned, but to sign confidentiality
agreements.
To be an effective ASAP.
Absolutely.
And
where is this now?
that will be under church affairs.
Church affairs.
Yeah.
Externally discussed.
Church business, basically.
Right. And hold folks liable.
If you're an officer,
And
if you're an officer of the church or a volunteer, confidentiality agreements.
Okay. And I'll put / policy.
Policies and procedures.
Improve
Right.
policy and
We got that
procedure.
from the lawyer. Yes, sir.
Because policy and procedures, it's a couple of other areas that would help, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. It'll help the pastor.
Policy, without question.
It will help the LGBT piece, right?
How they're treated.
What our position is. Most
Well,
churches
really-
don't state it.
This
Yeah.
okay. I gotta say this. This right now we started off in short term, prioritizing the short term stuff.
Okay.
We got to 2,
And we lost.
and now we're doing solutions.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Let's bring it back
So
in.
this isn't working for me. I'm not trying to derail anything.
No, that's fine.
But if we do it for every single one without prioritizing, because I don't think that we're going. I would question a 1,000-member church or whatever. I would question. Okay, you got all these short-term solutions that you're going to do in 0 to 12 months.
Right.
I would question that.
Well, I don't think so. I think some of them are
Quick fixes.
they're just quick fixes.
Some of them is just your
They're,
policy's
they're
bad.
really
Right.
really quick fixes.
But I respect
What-
the point that, okay, let's finish prioritizing. What I don't want to do, though, is for us to spend so much, unless we're going to be here all night.
No,
You
so much time doing what? No, I'm
So
just
much
saying.
time, just
let's rank them.
paralysis of analysis.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just saying let's rank
Okay,
them.
so
and
let's finish
we have
that.
a methodology for talking about it.
Let's
That's
finish
all.
that. Let's finish that.
So-
all right, so we said this is number 2.
That's number 2.
Okay. Number 3 on the short term. Because like you said, it may change. Because some of this is overlap.
Right.
Some
right,
of this is
right. You're not
overlap.
going to number everyone.
Right.
Right. So it's
the big ones, which is helping us out, the leadership issue,
Right.
the social injustice issue was happening immediately.
Is that
on
number
street.
3?
That's number 3. That's number 3. And
That's the finance
issue.
issue is number 2.
I think that categorically, okay, we got hospitality and flow management. How the service flows. Also various worship styles, but we put that as intermediary. So this would be number 4. Just
I
go
also
ahead.
want to be careful though, because guys, we got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Right,
Which
right.
means some of this can
Right.
be done simultaneously.
No doubt about
Right?
that.
Go ahead, go
The
ahead.
training of hospitality staff is happening over in that area, and dealing with social media.
Right.
Some of the things
Right.
are not going to be one do this and then do this and then do that. Some of it
Right.
is going to have to happen in a congruent kind of way.
It has to because we're
How many members do we have?
That's the other thing.
Did it say 250?
They kind of confused me. They told me 1,000.
Did it say 1,000?
Members?
700, yeah.
I didn't understand.
Okay. I didn't see a number on
I
the
didn't see a
information.
number.
I wrote a number. which is what I heard.
Yeah, they told us it wasn't, they told us 1,000.
1,000.
We had 1,000, they didn't put it
On the roll.
Right. But, and they
That's
didn't
where
put
the
it in,
confusion was for me.
they didn't put it in the document, and he said it yesterday.
Yes.
Remember, Dr.
Rogers.
Junior.
Dr. Rogers said, now,
Dr.
he
Rogers.
said, me and Dr.
Right,
me and Brother Wells, we were going
We went
back and forth, we
with
were going
this,
back and forth. So there is 1,000 members.
Right.
So for just so, because we want to be together on this, we're just going to take this. This is number one. We know what it stands for. This leadership issue.
Right.
Okay. So we're saying in 0 to 12 months, the first 3 months, the first quarter, we want to spend on this leadership issue. Is that fair? I mean, do we think that's a realistic amount of time to deal with?
You need to deal with that right now.
Okay. So number one, we're saying 3 months, right? So let's just put this kind of on a timeline, right? Number two is our financial problem.
You want to deal with that in the first 3 months.
We got an audit and the compliance, right? How long? So are we saying number two?
First 3 months.
First 3 months as
First
well?
3 months, right?
Okay.
First 3 months.
Okay. So these two things are happening congruently, right? Number three, the social injustice. Okay, well, let's stop because we left off the reaction to.
We got to deal with this first.
We got to deal with that.
We got to stop the bleed.
So 1, 2. So we'll make this 3.
And so that's what,
Oh.
Donald, that's one of the things we can do simultaneously.
Right.
Okay.
With the
Yeah,
message
you
to the newspaper
Right.
is the same as the social injustice. Come see us, because they already got our name bad
Yes.
up there.
Yes.
Right.
So come see us while we sit with Black Lives Matter on Wednesday night.
Outstanding.
And
So-
brand.
And I'm not giving any, I'm just putting them together.
Right.
Well, you can do those first, and this is getting back to what Donald is saying.
Number 3.
Okay, you can actually do these 4 in the first 3 months. These 4
Correct.
can be done in the first 3 months.
Okay. So let's say.
But what I'm saying is, okay, but what I'm saying is, if you come into a resource issue, okay, you know what's 1, 2, and 3,
Yes.
where you need to channel your resources
Yes.
because you prioritize them.
I got you. It makes
And
sense.
if in fact, so to your
Makes sense.
point about what your church did, right? So if in fact,
First,
somebody said 80% is on leadership. So one of the first things that we have to do is that whole retreat idea and pulling leadership together
Absolutely.
and imparting the leadership.
Absolutely.
And training leadership.
Right.
So
You
that
got-
the
you gotta do
coaches,
that.
so that the
Absolutely.
coaches are coached by the coach. And then the coaches coach members.
Cecil.
Pray for
Yes.
I was getting ready. We in the spirit. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank
Amen.
you so much for Cecil for his willingness, Lord God, to be duplicitous in how he is living. The fact that he's here in a leadership conference and he has final exams right now. We ask
Yes, Father.
for your favor on
Yes.
his life.
Yes.
We ask that you would bring back to his remembrance
Yes.
the things that he
Yes.
studied. We
Absolutely.
ask
Yes.
that you would allow him to be fresh and his mind would be sharp,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that you would give him something that's beyond himself,
Yes,
so that he would understand and know even more the greatness of your favor.
Yes,
So,
Father.
Father, may he bring back a great report tomorrow, and may he be ready to pour into what we are doing now. In Jesus' name, we
In
all
Jesus'
pray.
name.
Amen.
Amen.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Yes, sir.
For your
Yes,
dinner.
sir. Okay, so this is so good. This is good because, yes, I think it is logical to say, the question comes, is this realistic? If we're doing SWAT or whatever it is,
Right.
or you
I'll
go
text you
smart.
one.
Okay,
All
and
right.
I'll send you a picture.
Thank you so
Is this
much.
realistic?
Right.
And we can say, yes, we've looked at this. I don't know if we can pull another church model that's had a similar problem. We can even say from our experience. We've had somebody on the team that's gone through this. So we use that as a reference
Yes.
for our timeline.
I don't think we need to say that.
Well, just be prepared,
Yeah.
just in case.
Well, because as a consulting firm, you wouldn't go in and say that.
Okay.
Remember now. Okay.
Well, I got
you
a
know,
consultant, I have a consultant, that's in our house right now, and they gave us a
I know what I'm
list
about to say. People did it with me.
of what they didn't say exactly what they did
Right.
with 20 ministries, but they showed me
Right.
this has worked in these ministries.
Correct. Well, they gave you a template for success.
Right, because what
Right.
people
No,
want
they
to
gave
know.
me names. They
Okay.
said First Church over at Second
yeah,
Baptist.
contractors
And so
do
that's
that.
what I thought I was
Right.
hearing.
Right. Here's my bottom line. Is this objective, or is this just, where'd y'all pull this from?
Right.
Where did you even get the idea that this is how long? Well, we got a couple of models. We don't have to go into detail.
Right.
But we need to be prepared for that question.
Sure.
That
Right.
we did basis on.
Right.
So anyway, are we cool with, okay, here is 1 through 4. We're saying that the leadership issue, internal, external things being discussed, that's the number one thing. Because we can't get this straight, then we can't help anybody. Right? And then we're saying number 2,
The money issue.
the number 2 is the money issue.
Right.
Well, we can't sell the land, but we figured out that we better do an
We gotta be
internal
creative,
audit.
right.
We need to become compliant, and now we're working on consulting with somebody to show us how to do the social. What's the word?
Social enterprise.
Social enterprise.
Yes.
So we can make some revenue.
That's
Okay.
very good.
All right. 3, we're saying that we're here.
Larry, trust me, I'm not trying to be a naysayer. They're looking for solutions to come from us. That's what they're looking for.
Okay.
They're looking for solutions to come from us. So we're the consulting firm.
Right. Everything we said, this church isn't doing. We're supplying this. The church hadn't done an audit. The church has not in any way had a retreat. They didn't even know about best practices in terms of consulting with an expert to come in and sit down and talk. So those are solutions.
Right. Okay. So that's all I was trying to get you to see.
Okay.
Okay. As you talk.
I got you.
Talk solutions.
Solutions.
Because that's what they're paying. That's what potentially they're paying us for.
Okay.
When we present, that's the Shark Tank.
I got you.
Okay, and their job is to poke holes in our, let's not say presentation,
I got
but
you.
our proposal.
So are there some key words that you recommend?
No, let's go through this.
Okay.
Let's go
yeah,
through
because I
this.
was more or less doing this for us just to
Right.
to kind of get a
let's
rhythm
go through
for
this.
it. Okay.
But I want you to talk. One of the biggest mistakes I made as a consultant, right? I had just left being a director someplace, implementing a system that now as a consultant, I need to help you implement.
I got you.
So I went from leading, all right, to being an advisor and coaching, right? All right? And me and my client,
I got you.
because I didn't understand, I
You had to
didn't fully
coach.
understand my role.
I got you.
All right, and we just a little short story. We bumped heads in a meeting. I'm a consultant to OPM, and I'm being loaned out to DHS, Homeland
Okay.
Security.
Okay.
Right. The guy I'm working for is a Fed. We bumped heads in a meeting with subcontractors. I just did this 2-3 years ago. I'm telling you,
Right.
this is not the way to go.
I got you.
Right? And he said, anyway, make a long story short, I just thank God that he had been in the military and he didn't get offended.
Right.
Well, he did, but so he called me in and said, Clarence, I'm paying you for solutions.
Right.
I'm not, you're giving me issues that's going to happen. Right? And I used to have this favorite saying, don't go down that canyon, there's Indians in that canyon.
Right.
Right? He said, but I gotta go into that canyon. Now, I'm asking you for 3 solutions that's going to get me through there, that try to get me there unscathed. So all I'm trying to say to you is, as you talk, okay, talk solutions, because that's what they're going to hire us to do.
Right.
We got to,
So
and you're going to get hired on your best solution and strategy.
This is good. So is it helpful then to use the language? Here's solution number 1.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
stating,
Oh, absolutely.
Here is
Absolutely.
here's what you shared with us as the challenge. Here is how we believe it will change your game.
Okay,
or it
so
will help you.
agreed. So it's
Okay.
6:30.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell me how long we gonna be.
I would say another 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes would give us, because what I'm trying to do is create a narrative. Because when you're up, we're not doing the PowerPoint presentation. Do you own the solution?
Right.
Or do you believe in the solution? It's hard to do that if you're thinking in frame. So I'm just trying to create a narrative. So once we finish this, we know what our priorities are. I would like to then, we can use the solutions and create our narrative. When we come tomorrow and meet, we should be able to tell the story. Here's the problem. But we've been consulted to provide a solution. Here are the solutions, the proposed solutions. Proposed solution. And then put that into PowerPoint frames. Then we'll go back and check it against the vision. We'll check it against best practices. Because I just wrote some of the things you mentioned, like a SWOT analysis, that sort of thing. Then we can go and we can do a little extra research and pad the narrative, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can tweak us on language.
Right.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? So that we know how we ought to present.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So about 30 minutes to finish.
All right.
this.
Okay. Let's do the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We're done with 1 through 4.
We're done with 1 through 4. The next 3 to 6 months, we haven't even got out the first year, which is good.
I know.
Which is good.
I know.
So are we
Okay. So now we got to go to number 5.
Number 5. Number 5.
Short term.
Short term. We
You
done
got
before.
You got LGBT.
Okay. Number.
You got I'm just naming off what's left. You got short term LGBT, hospitality flow management, and stakeholders.
Okay, so we agree that some of the LGBT stuff is going to be addressed as we deal with leadership, as we deal with the way that we brand, even from the pulpit. So we just know that there's some overlap there. But we're saying now, as an intermediate step,
so should it be short term?
I would probably lean towards intermediate, given the leadership. But the time frame is still in the short term.
You're talking about 3 to 6 months now.
Yeah. So here's my thought, that we would bring in, we brought in a guy. His name is Richard Cohen. He came to Glenarden, and I actually sat in on the training. And he coaches pastors on how to deal with LBGT issues. And it was phenomenal, paradigm changing. That could be solution, long term, because we know you can't change the paradigm of people who are dealing with this issue instantly. Right. So we want to bring in him to do a series of trainings and workshops on this issue, and we'll do that over the course of whatever
3 to 6
time,
months.
3 to 6 months.
Okay.
So we'll make that. You want to make that intermediate step or intermediary?
Let's make that. What do you think? Let's make that intermediate, the LGBT issue.
What you think? Saying bringing in. So we brought in a guy named Richard Cohen who was phenomenal. He got a group of pastors. Said start with the leaders first.
Yes.
I'm going to help you guys understand my issue. I am no longer in that lifestyle now. So he helped change. So it was a process where pastors met with him over time.
Got you.
Okay.
And we would meet, and he eventually changed the paradigm over that issue. So we're saying 6 months to a year, maybe.
6 months to a year.
Yeah, because we want to become a part of our culture that we need to get rid of this stigma.
Right.
We have branded this poorly.
Right.
Even though we say we accept all,
Right.
there is nobody in here with training to know how to deal with this. So, your thoughts?
So when we get down to flushing out all of our solutions, that should go in there. We're recommending this consultant with the them.
So we'll make this a hard 5.
Did you just say them?
All people.
Yeah, you people.
So we're
I got friends
We're
that
just saying numerically that's 5.
All right.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
5.
keep
on
going,
this.
keep going.
Okay.
Okay, so now you got the only thing that's left is stakeholders.
Yes, the the employment. Well, that's long term. So we're saying stakeholders.
Stakeholders is short term.
Stakeholders are short term. So now, what are some best practices for improving our stakeholders? Because they may also help us with solutions. Stakeholders would be the police department. Okay.
Well, you got these two, hospitality and flow.
We
That's
already
what's
hit
left.
those.
No,
They were in 4. They were in 4. That's number 4. That's in our first
3 months?
Yeah, because we said if we had policy, procedures, and training, policy, procedures, and training along with the leadership piece, that's what's going to make the difference. Because we saying that ain't no reason for you to be treating people this bad. And we're making adjustments in our flow.
Okay, so what you're saying then is 1 through 4.
1 through 4
is we're going to get it done in 3 months.
Hitting it hard.
Okay.
But they may ask, it could be realistically to say, So,
0 to 6 months.
Yeah, because we're not saying we're going to fix it.
Right.
We're saying we're going to start to deal with this immediately. Here is why. Long term, we're going to have continual training.
Okay, that's good.
You see what I'm saying?
I think that can be satisfied too by developing some sort of legend at the front of it.
Right.
Yes.
When we say,
I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good because here's the thing: these are not simple issues.
Right.
Some of them have overlap.
Anytime you deal with people,
Yeah,
there's
not simple. So we want to make it clear that we're not saying we're
Okay.
fixing this.
Right, right.
But we are going to address it.
What we're addressing, we're making recommendations.
We're making recommendations. I
Okay,
like that
so
word. Here's our recommendation.
Yeah, we're making recommendations. Then, if that's the case, the only thing that's left then
We left this out.
is
With the what we said.
that's intermediate. We're still on short term. Is the stakeholders
Stakeholders, we actually had as
short term?
Did we say-
Because
Okay.
because Donald said we need to address that right away.
Okay.
Especially, and the newspaper
type
is
of-
part of your stakeholder
Right.
group.
Exactly. They
Okay.
come, your newspaper people come,
the politicians,
the politicians
Right.
come,
Absolutely.
our police department
Okay,
comes.
and in the strategic plan, I have an idea about. I have an idea about.
I
that.
love it. I love
Because in her PowerPoint slide, she talked about this was the social enterprise.
Okay.
Okay, she had a list in her PowerPoint. She had a list of stakeholders,
Nice.
and one of those was your chambers of commerce.
absolutely.
Okay, and churches miss that
Absolutely.
because that is where your business people are.
Absolutely agreed.
So when we
Okay,
get
in San Antonio, I was a member of the North San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. I was a member of this San Antonio, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Here in Washington, D.C., or wherever you are, right? Your chambers of commerce, your Asian, African American, and whatever other ethnic group, okay, Hispanic chambers of commerce. You all need to be a part of it.
So are we at intermediate yet?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
yeah.
we covered
Yeah.
all. We got one,
So-
2, 3.
So
one,
this
that's six.
stakeholders is 0 to 6 months. I mean, 3 to 6.
Yeah, I have it on here.
Huh?
3 to 6.
I have it.
3 to
Yeah.
6.
So we're putting,
So we're putting 5. Where's 5? The fact that we're going to address the LGBT issue and stakeholders, we're going to do that in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We're going to address this first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these two, basically what we're saying is in the next 0 to 6 months, we're going to address that.
Okay, so
Not saying that we
let's just
can't-
write it and then we'll shoot
Okay.
holes in
Yeah.
it tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me see.
What-
5
what
to
I-
6.
so let me, this is what I have for one. Call for leadership change
Right.
/
The external affairs being
externally discussed. Second, I have shortfalls of our budget.
Right.
3, I put these 3 together. Social injustice, reaction to the newspaper, and stakeholders. I put
Okay.
those 3 together.
Got you. That make.
The 4th is hospitality and flow management. And then number 5 is LGBT.
Okay, so this is a 3 then.
So you know you can fit the LGBT community under social justice.
You could.
Right, you
You
could.
definitely
Right,
could.
you could.
You definitely could.
You could.
So we have that. We have social injustice is number what? 3.
It was
Number
number 3, so it would go into here.
Right.
And perhaps all of that is just love your neighbor.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt. No,
Okay,
I
so-
don't even think the vision is palpable in
Yeah,
this. This
yeah.
is this
Bible
change
study.
is, huh?
That's a 6-week Bible study.
Yeah.
Or a 4-week Bible study.
Yes, but I put on here in terms of best practice, we got to have a change process to guide our congregation through these changes as well.
Because we got to teach
Part
on
of
it first.
Gotta teach.
Remember?
Ah!
We gotta teach on it
That's
first.
You
good
gotta teach
stuff.
on it
Did you write that
first.
down? That's good.
And don't do it till they get it.
You know what my church just did? We all got key fobs. All the leaders got key fobs. And if you take a class, you get a key fob.
Nice.
And we got a machine where you scan it when you come in. Okay? Leaders, church members.
I like that.
Okay, you got a key fob.
That's-
That way
What's the
they
key?
keep track of your attendance. They keep track of you taking classes. They know if you're being served or not.
Can we write that?
Yeah, that's good. You know why I like that?
Key
Because it's accountability,
Yes.
which we found is a problem in it with no discipline in our
Yes.
leadership.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good.
That's
I
right.
like it. A key
Okay,
thought was going.
So we're intermediate.
Go ahead. Okay, we're meeting. Yeah, yeah.
I know you're on a
So
time frame, huh?
we can still keep so I would say now we're talking about the program being organized better, right?
So these are systemic issues we're dealing with now, right? We're dealing with systems, right?
Yes, yes. So are we saying?
Mr. Clarence, can I see that, sir?
Are we saying? 'Cause we got this employment issue.
Because I can put that.
That's because that's long term.
Wow. Wow.
We should change that because when we talk about hiring, you talk about, part of the social injustice piece,
Right.
and generating revenue.
No, it is intermediate.
Is it intermediate?
It's a short.
Okay, got you. I got you. Okay. All right. So what would be the next one? What would y'all say is next on our priority list? The employment issue, or better improving our program?
Okay.
I would.
Various worship style.
That's S and this is intermediate.
People, there it is. Employment. You know how nice that was?
There you
So
go.
we're gonna make this the next thing on the list here, and this will be our number 6. Number 6 will be the employment issue, which is so nice because that's not only gonna allow us to address social injustice, it's also gonna help us as far as business. We
And
wanna bring
that's a-
people in that
Is
the
that
kids
S
can
or
help
an
with the
I?
social media.
Is that S?
Here, it's 6. This is number, no, it's, I had to, it's not aligned properly. This should be an I. This should be here. This is here, and that's here. Forgive me.
Okay, so it's not number 6, so it's number 1 under intermediate?
It's number 1 under, yeah, so it's 1
Right.
under intermediate, 6 under
The
entire
priority of
list.
everything. Follow?
It's one. It's number 1 under
Intermediate.
intermediate.
But
Okay.
it's number 6 in the
In
collective
in the collective.
list of items, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the problems.
Okay. So
Okay.
what's the next
The
intermediate?
next intermediate would be the,
Well, people are complaining about your programs.
yeah, we got guests to members issues. I don't,
You know what?
That's
I
not
would-
even, that doesn't even have
I
to be in.
would, yeah, I wouldn't,
Huh? What?
I say I wasn't putting no, I don't know.
I think
It's a growth
I'm
issue.
with him.
That's a growth issue though.
Because you got people coming in. You
Right.
got people coming in.
Right,
You gotta find a way.
to address this.
You got but I think that you can address that because we're doing it now. I think you can address that and this at the same
I
time.
agree.
I agree. I think it hits a couple of things. I think it also hits, I also think some worship style. In terms of what are we doing to turn our guests into members, but this is probably a bigger fit.
So then
You know-
maybe then various worship styles is number 2 under
Under
intermediate.
You ain't gonna bother that yet. That's hard to change.
Yeah.
Worship styles is hard to
That's why
change.
it's intermediate though.
Two,
Yeah, it is
2
intermediate.
years ago, my pastor stood in the pulpit. I'm sure you all have done this too. My pastor stood in the
You're
pulpit
right, it is hard.
and said, he says, we're going to have people come in this church that don't look like you. They're going to have earrings. They're going to have colored hair. They're going to have sagging pants. They're going to have earrings in their nose, lips, blah, 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 blah. Are you ready to accept that?
So my
Okay,
question,
so-
so my question though, because it is hard to change, but if it did, would it have the biggest bang for our buck in this situation?
But no.
Okay?
And the truth is, when you start messing with this, you start messing with those that are already members. There's an attrition that comes with that.
Oh, okay, so here's business,
Yes.
right?
We're almost done, so this is
I
a
know.
good problem to
Yeah,
talk
I know.
about.
No. This is serious. Roughly, with your change, how many members did you lose? 10%, 15%, 5%?
Yeah, but
Maybe
there's a
about-
difference.
maybe
There's a
about
difference
5%.
in what she changed and changing worship style. Worship style, R.A. Vernon said, everything begins from the weekend, stupid.
And you know what though, sir?
Yes.
You are 100% right when you talk about various worship styles
Yes.
and changing it.
Yes.
That's a process.
Yes.
Our minister of music, my best girlfriend died, Renita Macklin, died last year.
Mhm.
So all the people that we had raised and developed, they've been leading worship, but they're young.
Yes.
They start doing all this contemporary stuff, and I mean, like, Elder, can we put all the lights down? And I'm like, don't put all the lights down, it's gonna scare the people. Put half of them down.
That's right.
So we've had to do full circle and come back around to traditional,
You have to. Right.
but with 2 lights down.
Right.
Until
Right.
people
Right.
start getting it. Because
Right.
I'm like, I'm for it.
Right. Right.
How we ever.
So we just want to list it then as the people. So we agree that the guests, the members would be number 7 then. We just don't know how we're going to address it.
Right, because I mean, I know.
Now, where did
I was
that
just
come
trying
from?
to make a point, but the various worship styles, that's in there. But the various worship styles,
Yeah, that's in there.
I mean, this has been my experience, okay? The various worship styles, and I'm 57 years old, okay? And I go to a pretty contemporary church. But I got to tell you, I went down to Tampa, and I stepped in a church in Tampa, everybody in flip-flops, everybody in shorts, etc. And it took me back a little bit. Word was dynamic.
Sure.
Okay? So all I'm saying is this really, because this is going to change over time.
I agree.
This is going to change over, so
It could be that we are beginning the process. It could be, and we just say we understand that this is not an easy
Don't
issue.
forget, guys, look at this window.
Right, exactly.
That's-
Right,
that's
so that
3
fits.
years.
So,
That
yeah, that
fits.
fits.
So we
And
could
based
take.
on
okay.
based on what you all are saying, our recommendation to you, Pastor, is to understand that it's going to change
I like
over time.
Because I'm using your
That's
language
our
now. This is our recommendation.
Right.
What we
Right,
do is
right.
provide
So-
solutions.
Right,
It's your
right.
choice. We've looked at best practices. Churches, my pastor does it. He meets, he consults.
Right.
He
Right.
tells pastors, listen, if you got a 3-hour service, just know who you're going to lose.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
If
Absolutely.
you want to grow your church,
Absolutely.
you can't keep,
Absolutely.
the pastor's going to take the advice. He
Absolutely.
said, but
And perhaps another part of recommendation can
we
be,
could even
you
say
got
that
2
as part of the
services. Take one of them
love
and
it.
make it contemporary.
I love it.
Take the second one, make it traditional.
High five on that, Jack.
Right.
That's a great practical solution.
Right.
I want to read this just so for focus. The church's internal conflicts, arise out of a heterogeneous population's
Right.
approach to worship.
Right.
In addition to that, it's connected. There has been professed critique of shortfalls within the management of church worship services, including a flow of greeting and management hospitality. Some are suggesting, in relation to that programmatic ministries need to be better organized for service to the congregation and the community.
Okay, then that means that those
See?
3 or 4 things got to be all taken
Together. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So,
That's-
we're
you
not
have to
just trying to fix what's on the inside.
Right.
We
Right.
need programs
You need to look at it
that's going to
holistically.
also minister to
Right.
people on the outside, because that is how these guests become members.
Yes, yes,
And
sir.
and
Connecting them,
Connect the
care
dots.
groups, small groups,
Get them in there.
Right.
Get 'em
Sunday
in there.
school.
and so we need to deal with, even if we don't change
Right.
the worship style, we need to strengthen the worship style.
I love that word.
Yes,
So
I
yeah,
love
that's
that
a
word.
different
Right.
twist.
I love that
You
word.
strengthen.
And I think it makes it realistic that we.
And we implement timelines.
Yes.
That's
Right,
going to kill it.
right.
That's going
And
to
that's
kill
going
it.
to help your flow.
Yes.
That's going to,
Right.
man, let me
Right.
tell you, that
Right.
church I walked into,
Right.
Yeah.
dude,
Right.
Oh,
Wow.
it's a game changer.
I was,
Yeah.
and
Our
I
church
know
is that way too.
Game changer.
To the-
Game
to
changer.
the-
Game
to the
changer.
minute.
And it all ties back to here.
People.
So while we're talking, I think it's important to say, man, it's all people,
People,
man.
yes, it
Yes.
is.
It's all people.
Absolutely.
It's people. We forgot that. We thought it
Absolutely.
was ministry. So anyway, so we're at 6.
well, you got to take those
So
3 or 4
four and wrap
that
them together.
You got to
So
wrap
we-
them together.
We got so much.
I
Okay,
think
this is the
that's
last
two
one. So
under
here it
the
is. We're saying we're taking various 1, we're taking 2, we're taking that, and we're taking this. Is what you're saying? Are you saying you're wrapping all 4 of those together?
No,
According to this.
hospitality,
Yes.
Programming. You said programming. Worship style.
No, or you program better organized.
Okay,
Over
and this
strategic planning.
So it'll be programmed,
Right.
better organized,
Right.
various worship styles, hospitality.
Right.
Flow.
Hospitality's covered in S.
It is, but what we're saying, that as we deal with it, we deal with it as a package based upon how it's presented here.
Okay.
Right.
So-
You got to look at it holistically.
Holistically.
You can't.
Okay.
Matter of fact,
you
that word
can't
was used at
dissect
the end of this.
Yeah.
So we're saying
You gotta
holistically,
look at it.
it's all
holistically.
tied together.
Right.
We recognize that if we change this, then
Right.
this group changes.
Yes.
Right.
If we start playing with this here, it's going to affect hospitality. Everything got to be impacted by
Donald,
this.
who was it? I thought you was
But
asking somebody, or somebody was asking you or something like that, where they were saying, or one of the speakers were saying, in their church, they have like a, for new members, they got like a part 1, part 2, it's done on every third Sunday or something. I don't know who was that.
That was,
Okay.
Glenn Arden.
Okay, well, guess what? We're doing the same thing now.
Absolutely.
We're
Because
doing
that's the
same
best
thing.
practice.
That's the best practice.
Absolutely.
We're doing the exact
What's
same
that
thing. We used to have, for new members,
Okay.
we used to have a 12-week class, then they broke it down to 6.
Uh-huh.
Now, it's just 4 weeks,
Right.
and it's done on the first 4
Yeah.
weeks of the
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
Right, wait a minute, but it's broken down into 4 sessions.
Right.
Okay.
And the last session, in those trainings, right, you're getting a gift assessment,
Yes.
you're getting a personality assessment,
I love
et cetera, because now you know what your gifts
And
are,
let's also suggest
right?
that we also offer online courses.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
So
So,
I
you
can
do-
talk
so
to
this
that.
is part.
Okay.
This is
Right.
y'all saying this is part of your
I can talk to
programmatic
that.
change, or
Right.
is this part of your
Well,
style change?
Well, this is going to be part of your strategic.
That's a part of the
plan,
ministry.
The ministry to be all inclusive.
Right.
I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
Because right now the problem that we have, just to let you know, the problem that we have in our church is we don't have enough courses online.
Yeah.
Gotta have
Yeah, that's
Okay,
I'm
we don't
working
have
on that
enough
myself
online.
right now.
So when we have snow days,
Yeah.
we have a snow day here,
Yeah.
right? And people emailing me, brother Clarence, are we having class tonight? Is God off?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, we having class tonight.
Yeah,
It's
some people
called
can't make it.
freeconferencecall.com.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hey.
let's finish with this then.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
So for our notes, is that an S or is it short term or is it intermediate? Program better organized, various worship styles, guest to ministers. Is that S now or is it still
That's going to
intermediate?
be the challenging part in communicating because it's both. We're actually saying, time-wise it's going to be intermediate, but the start of it is going to be short-term.
So we're
this
on the
program-
beginning end of the
we're-
intermediate.
Right, we're on the beginning end. So if it's 13
Right.
months, in the 13th month, this is something that we're going to start.
Right.
We're going to start rolling out.
Right.
We'll start with a communications piece where we let people know the change is coming.
Right.
And then this is happening. So
Right.
we'll lay it out that
Right,
way.
right.
And then we'll move into,
Right.
here is somebody that we bring in
Right.
that will specialize, and then we'll do a sermon series, and then we'll do so that's how that'll be
Right.
presented.
Right.
So it's duplicitous in that sense.
Gotcha.
But if we do it that way, this is almost not.
It's
You
almost
gotta
what?
strengthen
Strengthening,
worship
I like
experience
that
now.
word, by the way, yeah.
You gotta deal with strengthening the worship experience now. Everything flows from the weekend.
Yeah, everything.
Well, then we can
That's where
definitely
your crown
say,
is.
All right.
right, and we can definitely
So
say.
we can fill in that blank, but we know that is going to be, we know that there is going to be a short term and a longer, and for as far as the strategic
Yes.
aspect,
Yes.
it's going to be a little
Yes.
longer.
Yes.
We're good with that. The last thing on the list, not trying to rush, but just, I think we got a good running start, is gentrification.
Yes.
We already dealt with employment, right?
I think with the well, go ahead.
So the community has changed, right?
The community is changing slowly, yes.
So here it is. It says the church is firmly rooted in a historic African American community that through gentrification is becoming more diverse demographically. The question that we want to answer is whether we're going to change to meet our new change or whether we're going to stay the same regardless of the demographic. Neither is bad. I just think we need to state that because it will affect
Well,
our approach.
we already decided that we were going to
Oh.
implement
Vision.
social,
All people.
all people.
Okay.
We're going to implement social enterprise.
Okay, so,
That's
so with part of this change in program and worship style, we're saying that because the community has changed through gentrification, and we want to reach our community. We want to reach all people. That we're going to change. We're going to make some changes to be more inclusive. So this is number.
Remember, solutions.
Solutions.
We're gonna, okay, now that's going to affect gentrification. Addressing that is going to affect multicultural.
Okay. Okay. So these are long.
For your
So
brand,
we're saying
how are you going to brand that?
So 3 years out. 3 years out. Remember that 3 to 5 years out. We want to. The problem is, I can imagine somebody saying to us, your neighborhood is y'all behind the 8 ball, and part of the reason you ain't experiencing growth because you're not advertising to the people who are right in front of you. How are you missing?
Okay,
so we may have to change this.
So one
of the things that Donald and I immediately see is when you go online now to our website, I have black people, I got Asian people, I have Hispanic people, and I know this will be part of this private part of the coach. I had to coach Bishop Coach. Father, quit calling people Mexicans. It's Hispanic.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'd be surprised what those
stunned.
Yes, what those words mean.
Wait a minute, in San Antonio.
In San Antonio.
Wait a minute. In San Antonio.
Okay.
Your mom and dad come from Mexico. They had you in San Antonio. You Mexican. But you label yourself as Hispanic, and nor do you want to be called Mexican. Blew my mind.
That's right.
Okay, so let's offer.
So anyway,
we'll color it in. What we'll say.
Now this is where I'm like you. This is where I'm like you. I love the black church. I don't give up the black church for nobody. So
and we shouldn't.
And we shouldn't. So the ideals of because the question has to be. Y'all ain't say nothing to us until these white people came. Now you want to market to a multicultural?
Okay, so this.
Okay, we can't put that
No, I think that's fair.
I think it's write fair.
I think it's fair.
As we deal in business,
Well,
as we deal in business, you can
Pastor,
feel that in your heart.
Yeah, man.
Don't say it. Right, we trying to sell. Hey, we trying to sell the land.
That's right. You're gonna want that money.
Yeah, right.
Because we black. And New Creation, we
So as part of our goal is that within 3 to 5 years, our leadership will change to reflect the people who are in our community.
You got to.
We'll have. Yeah.
Okay.
I just hired a black man that's in our congregation, married to a white lady, and he is our minister of multicultural ministries.
Yeah.
So that's
It just says for this article. Then when we go home, no, I'm just joking. But for this article's purpose,
we're gonna have a minister. We recommend a minister of
Y'all off the chain.
No, man.
Y'all off the chain.
I think that's. But here's the
That's
bottom
why
line.
I'm in this group. That's why I'm in
Our
this
bottom
group.
line.
Still messing with the black church.
Okay. But
Great.
it's
That's great.
it is fantastic.
Okay.
And that's why I work with black churches.
Okay.
But the real bottom line is, this is real.
Yeah.
It's real,
Okay.
sir.
And the members, a lot of the members in some of these black churches that's been around here for 200 years and 100 years, dude, I walk into the church and I'm stunned by the number of elderly that are in the church, and there's no young people.
Absolutely.
The youngest person in the church is 45.
Which to your point though, I think is important at some point tomorrow that we discuss tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
That's the third time, I get it.
That we discuss injecting an age in all of this.
We definitely have to address them.
I think that comes in your strategic planning with your data and that type of stuff.
We can pad it with that. So here's what so we can pray out. And I just thank God. To me, it's a miracle to just get this far with everything that we had to look at. What I want to do, if you could just send me your rough notes, I will create a narrative, hate it, love it, or leave it. Leave it. So when we come tomorrow, we can read the narrative, make sense of the narrative, and we immediately create our PowerPoint and we fill in the blanks based on that.
I will, I don't know if you have anything, but I will have I can generate a proposal template
Good.
Okay, I can generate a proposal template, and what I will start doing is filling in some of this stuff.
I'm gonna work on a
Okay.
marketing plan.
I love it. I
Okay.
love it. So tomorrow we'll have, all I want, for people who weren't here,
Yes.
they can feel the story.
Yes.
And then we can actually add structure
Yes.
and meat and support for these things, because I think this is a beautiful, beautiful, as you said, solution. All right, let's pray.
All right.
Can you bless us, sir? Hey,
Father,
please.
thank you for this time. We love you so much. Bless us on our going the same way you did our coming, so that we find our dwelling places blessed. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, amen. It's amazing how short them prayers get when they're ready to go. It's amazing. You can be just as effective.
Because
Man,
he
let me
filled
tell
my
you
heart.
something. Let me say something. He said, we're going to finish this prayer in the car. I'm going to start now.
I'm gonna call y'all and say amen.
We're going to finish
We
this.
can also check out, Cecil sent our dashboard to,
Okay.
to
Nice.
us.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
y'all can
Nice.
take a look at it.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And there is a website, just so you all know. There's, if you went out on the, our youth minister didn't go through the web developer at our church because it would take too long, and there is